Hello and welcome back to Warframe. My name's Todd, also known as Magi Mech, and this is of course Warframe. So last time we finished off completing a good amount of the tutorial, and we were going to go get our next segment so we can hopefully get this thing off of us and not lose our minds. But before we do that, I just wanted to do a quick explanation of a couple things. In the lower left of the screen you can of course see the chat. While you're in your spaceship, you have access to many different types of chat. There's the region chat, which is mostly just talking, other players asking about different things about the game. There's also, moderators and whatnot that make sure that nobody's doing anything bad in there. There's the recruiting chat, which is for finding, squad, clan, running things with other people. It's pretty much how you find groups. And there's also trading chat, which is pretty much as it seems, people trying to sell, buy things. I'll mostly for the series leave it on region chat. Probably see some funny jokes down there, hopefully. Aside from that, I was going to explain a little bit about mods. So when you just start the game, mods are really a big mystery, and there's tons of different things I could talk about when it comes to what each of them does. But when you just start out, you'll get what they refer to as damage mods, and these are greatly decreased value mods that really aren't worth your time. So don't bother upgrading these, just kind of get ready to throw them out. You'll get non-damage mods like this redirection here, which will have much better values compared to the damage version, and it'll be much better to put these in to your builds later on. You can make your builds for your Warframe, your weapons, and other things, like I said, at the arsenal. And while you're in here, oh, wrong tab, you can go to upgrade, and from upgrade you can kind of change a bunch of things and put in different mods that kind of suit your taste. When we talk about builds for certain warframes or weapons, this is the screen you'll typically be looking at for those. There's tons of different values for all the things you can upgrade. You can upgrade pretty much all the things on the left here. Each one of these kind of does something different for your abilities for your warframe, your shields, your health, your sprint speed, your armor, and all of that is greatly important as you go through the game. But let's just continue on with our little adventure and do another mission. Alright, searching for the Foundry segment next. Okay, let's do this.
Tenno, we may have a problem. The colony is unresponsive. Get to the surface. I was afraid of this. The Grineer are here, and I cannot find any signs of living colonists. You still have a job to do. Find the Foundry segment.
Alright, so we've kind of leveled up our little Volt here, and he's actually gotten his next ability, which we can go in here, look at our abilities, and see what it does. You gain a brief movement speed buff when you use your ability, and that's really useful. It also makes a sprint speed useful on Bolt. It also just looks really cool. This buff can also be given to your allies if you're standing near them.
This was once a prosperous, independent colony, until the Grineer arrived.
The queens fear you, but I will show them. Their love will return when I deliver you to them.
Tenno, are you there? The signal cannot be boosted any further. Hurry, you are running out of time.
Of course my cat has to be let out right at that moment. Alright, back to it. When doing these levels, you don't have to go kind of quiet like I'm going, of course. It doesn't really benefit you aside from the affinity boost you get. So going loud is no major issue unless you're doing a spy mission. Come on. Oh, let's get a 2 for 1. Yeah! Let's try and line this one up. Bang.
You located the foundry segment. Now pick it up.
Yes, Mom.
Good. Your ship is one step closer to completion. Now, there is one more thing you need to do. Eliminate all Grenier and provide justice for the colonists.
That I can do.
Soon the worm will be in your spine, and I will control this warframe of yours. I will purge your doting mother and bring you home.
So, it should be noted that this mission has now become from a find the segment mission into an elimination mission, which just means that you have to kill a certain number of enemies to progress. Or complete the mission. Not super difficult, pretty self-explanatory. Where is this? There he is. You'll also get a waypoint to the nearest enemy, which is sometimes kind of janky. Hopefully this time around it won't mess up too greatly for us, though. One thing you might have noticed is now that we've used our energy twice, it's not coming back right away. I did make a note that you would be able to collect energy from dead enemies. There are other ways you can gain energy later on, but right now, the blue orbs that we get from enemies are really the only way to get energy. Only good way, that is. Yes. Let's switch it up. Can't keep using that bow every single kill. Gotta get all those resources. One thing that might be noticed about Warframe is that these guys kind of just spawned in this room when I left it. Doors kind of act as loading zones and can cause enemies to spawn by going through them. And pretty much enemies only spawn when they're out of your vision. So, for instance, not looking at an area will cause enemies to probably spawn there. For elimination missions, it's actually probably more beneficial to go loud than it is quiet. So if they set off the alarm, I'm probably not going to bother to turn it off. Because while the alarm's running, enemies kind of come to you, which is more effective.
They spotted you.
Oh yeah. Have some knives. Because you know it's knife to meet you guys. Yes, there will be puns. Because everybody loves a good pun. At least most dads do anyway. Alright, so we've killed enough enemies, now we can pretty much ignore all these guys and run to the exit, which is exactly what I'm going to do. When running through certain areas, there will be parts that can be broken to, you know, create entrances and exits, but not everything can be broken. This is greatly apparent in spy missions.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Alright. Got some more useless broken mods. Ooh, we got one that wasn't broken. That's good. And we finally got our foundry.
Your foundry segment is ready for installation, operator. Will the operator build us at the launch replace me?
If only I could, Ordis. Sometimes your voice gets on my nerves. I get the feeling I'm gonna get a lot of hate from the people who love Ordis for that one.
Foundry restored. Here, the operator will craft many powerful weapons and tools to exact revenge for dismantling me. To expand your arsenal. Oh no. Operator, our component storage has been looted as well. Typical Corpus. Sure, the blueprint is free, but jack up the components. Operator, we will need resources in order to build the countermeasure blueprint.
That we will. So, this...
General, I just received a very explicit message from your ship, Sevlon. If you're looking for resources, why didn't you just say so? I know just the place, but I demand an apology. My mother is no gymnast, and she would never eat those things.
You can go straight to... Operator, I am sorry.
Wow. You may want to get a new ship, Sevlon, when you can afford it. That one seems glitched. I've marked your navigation with a place I know. It's good for resources, if you can stand the cold.
I think we just might have to. Let's see. So, with our foundry unlocked, we now are able to build things. This is the main part of Warframe. That you'll spend hours here building different warframes, weapons, among other things. Right now there's not much we can build. We're actually trying to build these Scaris negator, which is the thing that Vor attached to us in the previous part. There are a couple other things you can build right off the bat, but we won't be really able to build those for quite some time. I'm not even sure why I have a Panthera blueprint, actually. Different parts will require different things. You can see here that the air support turrets require the landing craft foundry segment, which we don't have. Don't have the components for the Ascaris negator yet. And Panthera needs mastery rank 7, which isn't really something I touched on much, but as you rank up weapons and warframes, your mastery rank will go up. So this right here is where your mastery rank will be displayed. Right now, we haven't upgraded enough to even get a better mastery rank. This blue bar is kind of our experience rank needed for the next mastery rank. As that goes up, we'll be able to unlock new master ranks, unlock new things, and be able to use new weapons. I believe the highest master rank required to be able to use all the weapons in the game is 16, but we're pretty far from that right now. So, let's go raid some resources. One minor note is, while in these loading screens, you can actually move your ship around by pressing the movement keys. Doesn't work in this cinematic, though.
Darvo's intel suggests that this outpost is host to several rich supply caches. Raid the caches and take what you need. This outpost belongs to the Corpus, a secretive but extremely powerful merchant cult known to be working with the Grenier. Darvo will fill you in.
Legions of robots, mindless automatons, freaking lasers. These guys are bad news, but they're also loaded, which is why you're here.
Couple things to note. The Corpus, a new enemy that we've just been introduced to, is, as he just stated, mostly made of robots and automatons. There are a couple crewmen, like the one we just slayed there. Another thing to note is you might have seen a pop-up at the bottom of the screen. Each mission will have a objective which you can fulfill later on, and that'll appear in the escape screen there. Those kind of give you bonus affinity, but the one that we just saw there was actually an achievement. So if you pop off enough Corpus hats, you get an achievement. This type of mission, I believe, might be a spy, but we'll take a look. Sometimes they'll disguise other missions. Ah, no, this is a resource cache. Typically, these will appear in standard missions, and Lotus will inform you that there's resources cache hidden. And they'll look like this every time. They'll emit a noise, which will allow you to find them, and they'll be glowing white rather than the green or red of normal caches.
Keep moving. There is more here.
they're typically a secondary.
Technically, this is stealing, but don't let that bother you. The Corvus aren't exactly beacons of moral fortitude either. They sell anything to anyone. Don't get me wrong, I like profits. A lot. But I don't sell my wares to the damned Grenier. That's unforgivable.
There's a whole bunch about the morals of Warframe and the different factions, and I'm not going to go super in-depth into that, because you'll see it throughout the story. But this sort of mission isn't actually common with the caches. It's more of a secondary objective in normal missions. So it is usually worth it to go for those caches if you've never gotten them before, because they'll often have mods, resources, and things that you can't find other places. Ah, here we're introduced to cameras. So this is one thing that can be rather frustrating if you've never seen them before. If you set them off, they'll activate green security gates, and those security gates will knock you back and get rid of your energy. However, you can roll through them without getting knocked back, which is pretty useful sometimes. However, you can just destroy the camera as well, and that turns off the security lasers. Gotta know all those ways to get around things that slow you down. So we've actually started to run into some guys that aren't gonna go down in one hit. Ought to be interesting. Well, maybe not a one hit to a weapon anyway. This mission is great for all these resources.
Good work, but you're not done yet. Find the next cache. You almost have what you need.
You have murdered my sons and disgraced me before my queens. But soon, the Ascaris will complete its task and bring you to me.
So, one quick note about the Corpus is they have lots and lots of barrels of elements around. Those, like that explosive barrel for instance, explode and can be very damaging to you and your enemies. If used well, they're pretty effective. They also have these robotic two-legged sentries called Moas. They do actually have heads, though it may not look like it, right about where the little yellow eyes are, right underneath their guns.
You've been seen.
So if you're trying to do max damage, the heads are right underneath those little guns. And the heads for the Corpus are just right above the little blue eye-looking thing, which is actually their helmet. It's also fun to shoot Corpus because their little helmets pop off. Alright, we might have to expedite, we're getting overrun. The Corpus tend to have higher shields than the Grenier, whereas the Grenier will have armor. That'll all play into damage and other things that can be explained with modding when we have more resources later on. For now, just deal with them as you deal with the Grenier.
Time for extraction, Tora. You've got all you came for.
The Ascaris has reached your mind and rendered your lotus mute. You will return to me over your own free will.
So that pop-up we just had there at the top of the screen was actually stating that we had gotten an achievement. Meaning we had completed an objective. I believe that one might be for getting a kill with each of your weapons in a short amount of time. If you've never dealt with, hordes of enemies before, this section here can actually get rather difficult for new players. Just because the Corpus kind of take a lot more hits, and a lot of Warframes are not very tanky, or they can't take that many hits. So just note that taking cover and letting your shield recharge, really, really useful. You can also just peek around corners a lot more effectively than they can. And if you need to, sliding is also a great way to become a moving, shooting platform. It reduces the amount of things that'll hit you. And that's our second mission done. If you heard Borvis now, and he said, "You are mine." I don't think will be yours that easily.
Operator, are you all right?
This part of your journey is over, Tenno. I admire you for your struggle, but now I am part of you.
Lotus, do something. Help the operator.
We Grineer are millions strong, but with the flaw, we are diseased, rotting, sterile. But now, we have you!
Operator, do not abandon me again. Build the countermeasure.
I did this for my love, my queens. They will forgive my insubordination when I deliver you to them. Our love will be reborn as we feed on your divine blood. Our children will flourish without disease. And I will die at last, at peace. Father, grandfather. What do you think you're doing?
Time to build the negator. Simply click, click. We won't be yours so easily, Vor. Well, if you've ever played Warframe before, Warframe before, you definitely know that waiting for things in this foundry will be a common occurrence. Some of these time limits, boy, they aren't short.
What a waste.
Tenno. Good. You managed to disarm Vor's Ascaris. I thought I lost you.
Not lost, not yet.
Oh no. The Ascaris had a tampering failsafe. It's burrowed into you and armed itself. We'll need to find Vor before it detonates. Get to navigation. Boarding a Grineer ship to access their personnel records will be the fastest way to find Vor.
Operator, what are you waiting for?
We'll get on top of it then.
Ordis assumes finding Vor implies violence?
Always.
Hello, operator. May I suggest you access navigation and save your life? For my sake.
You know, I'm supposed to be the funny one here, Ordis, but well, we'll leave that one for now. I do admit, these cinematics do look really
The
good.
systems on this Grenier galleon can be made compatible with your ship. Find and extract a navigation segment.
And we'll do just that. Over maybe like 10 or 20 corpses.
You have murdered my sons and disgraced me before my queens. But soon, the Ascaris will complete its task and bring you to me.
I think the voice line might have bugged out there. I'm pretty sure he said that in the last mission. One thing about Warframe that I'm just going to state now is if you've never played this game, oh boy, it is not a bug-free game. There are many bugs, and I'm hoping we don't run across too many of them, just because some of them can be pretty game-breaking. But they do happen. That doesn't mean that this is a bad game, nor that these bugs can't be gotten around, but this isn't, you know, a AAA published game. This is made by a small company. I think they stated that when they originally published this game, there was like some 100 developers or something like that. So, don't expect the greatest quality and testing ever. The community loves it though. And some of these bugs can lead to pretty hilarious things sometimes. So, most people just let it pass. Nothing quite as funny as seeing weird AI and silly ragdolls. Let's go fast. Silent like a... oh. I was doing so good, and then I had to screw it up. Hopefully nobody else saw that. Shh. I'm quiet. I know it. I can be silent. I really can. I don't really suck at stealth, I don't. Not all the time, anyway.
Good work. We have what we... Wait. Tenno, coordinates in this nav segment put the galleon on a direct course to a convoy of colonists. You have a choice. You can extract now, or you can disable this galleon and save the colonists. Saving the colonists could jeopardize this mission. I recommend you head straight to extraction, but the choice is yours. The Ascaris failsafe is attacking your systems. Your shield capacity has just been halved. You're wasting precious time, Tenno.
We've always got to take the high, hard route, don't we? Let's save some colonists. So now that we finished the Foundry segment part of this mission, it becomes what they refer to as a sabotage. Let's bring down this ship and save some colonists. There's no major repercussions for choosing to help some people, so let's go do it. This just might be a little bit more difficult than we were expecting.
You've reached the ship's power systems. Destroy the reactor. Destroy the fuel injectors.
So the main purpose of sabotage missions is to complete a couple objectives that don't really include killing people, but that might be a side effect. It typically involves destroying some sort of machinery or systems in a ship or area, which, you know, helps out the people around, so. If I could hit this bloody thing, my aim is so bad with knives.
That should take the pressure off the colonist ship, but you need to get out of there. Get to extraction before the reactor goes critical.
This guy is just completely oblivious. Make sure that guy didn't set off the alarm. Silence that guy. Okay, we're good. So these sabotage missions typically have more objectives, but I figured since they figured this might have been your first one, that there shouldn't be an issue. We'll just give you one objective. Sabotage missions also tend to have changing levels. This patch of what you might consider like flaming ash wasn't here before.
Doors are locked. Time to break in.
Typically, sabotage missions will cause the area to change in some way, making it a little bit more hazardous. Though they don't typically affect you by having your shields like they did this time around. Yeah, the screen shaking and the explosions are also kind of annoying, but I think we can deal with that. Let's switch it up and get some melee kills, shall we? Oh yeah. Nothing quite like slicing through a dude. Never gets old. That appears to be yellow, so that might mean... ah, yes. Lockdown has been initiated. So, in a mission, the alarms can be set off at one of these panels, but a lockdown can also be initiated by the enemies, meaning that all doors in the area have been locked. Enemies cannot come in, but you can't go out, so it's important to turn that off so you can progress. This is typically indicated by the alarm waypoint turning from white to yellow.
Override complete. Move on.
Come on, guys. Bring it on. You ain't got nothing. So, what I did just there was actually a ground slam. If you're in the air and press melee, you'll typically ground slam. This can open enemies up to finishers and do a lot of damage. This guy here is a new type of enemy, a Seeker, which throws latchers, which are tiny grenades. Dang things are annoying. Let's see if I can't get a ground finisher on one of these guys. Oh. You won't always do a... there we go, there's a ground finisher. You won't always do a ground slam if you're in the air and press a melee attack. Sometimes you'll do a forward dash. Depends on whether or not you're tilted upwards or tilted downwards. If you're tilted downwards, you'll do a ground smash, or ground slam. Let's just ignore most of these guys. I'm gonna spend all day killing them. Just gotta make it to the exit. And there we go.
The colonist ship has been lost. I know it was a difficult choice, but many more in the future depend on your survival today.
Pretty sure I saved the colonist ship, but whatever, Lotus. Sometimes those audio cues can get really buggy.
When you are ready, proceed to the navigation console.
Alright, so we can progress, and I believe the next step is to add in our navigation.
The detonator is charging up. You need to bring Vor down. He thinks he can capture you again. Don't worry. I will be with you. Let us show him how much you have learned.
So the next step is to deal with Vor. We will be saving that for next time. There's also another thing we can do, which is a master rank up, because we've leveled up our weapons as I previously stated, and we can reach the next rank. We'll probably do that before we deal with Vor. But until next time, feel free to comment on anything you want me to do or talk about, and like, comment, share. I'll leave a link to Patreon and social media below. And thank you all, and have a nice day.